Hello and welcome to my Work-Life Balance e-course. Module 1. Where are you now? The stress in getting the balance right between work and home affects everybody at times. But for some people, it can be all-consuming and even overwhelming. This e-course will help you to focus on the bigger picture and to help you fine-tune the way you balance your working life with your home life and family relationships. It's designed to help you as a parent to find your own answers for your particular circumstances. You'll find that you'll develop your own confidence, style and rhythm, which will help you feel less stressed, more energised and back in control of your family life. And this is absolutely vital for bringing up happy, confident, well-balanced adults, today's children, but tomorrow's future. So, shall we make a start? Well, we all have dreams, don't we? We all want to be the very best parent that we can be and to make a difference in the lives of our kids, helping them, nurturing them, and helping them grow up to be happy and successful in their own lives. But many people seem to give up on their aspirations or their dreams of finding the right balance between working and living the life that they truly want and find satisfying, especially when they're faced with life's inevitable challenges. Many parents lose their confidence and their hope. So my role is to remind you that we all have the power that we need within ourselves to change anything. And if there's something that you don't like in your life, deep down within you, we can start today to make a change. By studying this e-course, you'll learn how to wake up your power and to bring back your confidence and to give you the motivation to change what's not feeling balanced in your life at the moment. So let's look at positive thinking. You may be feeling tired of all the times you've heard people tell you that the secret is positive thinking. Of course, thinking positively is a really great start, but it's not enough to turn your life around, because you also need to have some practical strategies and some step-by-step plans for changing how you think, how you feel, and what you believe is actually possible, and what you can actually believe is achievable. Most of us want to change or improve something in our lives. It's human nature, and all the changes we want to make seem to fall into two categories. Either we want to change the way we feel about something, like our job, our relationships with our kids. We may want more confidence, more money and less stress. Or we want to change our actions, like we want to stop procrastinating, stop smoking, drink less, and perhaps exercise more. The real secret is to start believing or accepting that change is possible, and then to make small, consistent, little changes on a regular basis to watch the quality of our lives steadily improve over time. A commonly held belief that you need to let go of is that your past equals your future. It doesn't. So if you've tried to make changes before and they haven't worked out in the past, that's got nothing to do with what you'll decide to do today, because it's what you do right now that shapes your future. So I want you to choose right now to stop beating yourself up and instead to look towards a new compelling future where you're in the driving seat of your life. And while you do that, just relax and enjoy the adventure. I remember when I left a very successful career in education as a teacher, my colleagues were rather sceptical about my plans to begin a new coaching career, helping children and adults to grow into confidence and self-esteem and be the best parents they can be. They all wished me well. And when I qualified as a professional life coach specialising in parenting, they asked me, "So Sue, what exactly will you be doing?" Well, I said, I'm passionate about self-esteem for children, and I want to work with the parents because they're the ones who give their children the gift of self-esteem. So I want to help parents put their kids higher up on their priorities and to make a big difference in the lives of children throughout the world by working with parents. One of my colleagues replied, "Oh, that sounds great. I'd love to find the right balance, enjoyment and sense of ease that spending time with my family and kids could really give me, as well as doing a good job here." And then she got this faraway look in her eyes. What a lovely dream. I'd love to do something I'm passionate about, but the mortgage and all that. And her eyes returned to the overwhelming feelings of stress, too much to do and not enough time to do it, and the feelings of guilt about taking time out to even think that there could be another way. I found their responses rather fascinating, as of course I'd battled with these feelings myself for more than 3 years. The catalyst for change for me was the death of both my parents in quick succession in the same year. But why wait? Why wait for a crisis or a major life change to project you into enjoying your life more now? Nowadays, I have balance and peace of mind. I'm extremely grateful that I discovered that when you spend just a little bit of time relaxing, sitting down and asking yourself some really searching good questions, you actually discover that you have all the answers deep within you anyway. It's like you no longer have to live your life just pleasing others. You no longer hear the word should or must so much in your head as you focus on working out what your own life is really all about. You're able to stand back and see the wood for the trees and appreciate what's really important to you in life. You get a sense of perspective. Perhaps you're hungry for inspiration and practical solutions to your own set of circumstances. Perhaps you feel, I just can't do this anymore. Or there's got to be more to life than this. Or perhaps you've just had a baby and find you've lost yourself along the way. Perhaps you're feeling overwhelmed as you're trying to decide whether to change job, start a new career, go back to work after having a baby, or you want to spend more time with your kids before they grow up and leave the nest. Often, the parents I work with feel as though whatever they've tried, nothing seems to work. Why? Well, I believe it's because we all dread failing. Nobody wants to give their all and be disappointed, so we often just stop trying. But the great news is that you're wrong. You can make things happen. You can change your life today by changing your perceptions and changing your actions. Whatever your situation or scenario, this e-course will offer you some new ways of thinking and some new solutions to old ways of doing things. But it still needs you to make the first leap. You have to want to make changes, but even more important than that, you need to want to take action. We can all talk a good game after all, but the difference between success and disappointment is that the people who succeeded all leapt from a great height. And you know what? They flew. It doesn't matter what you want to change, as we're all unique and different, and our dreams and aspirations are all totally different too. But it's the reaching out, the furthest branches that counts, because that's where you'll find your fruit. The first step towards turning your life around is getting rid of this negative belief that you can't do something about it, that you're somehow helpless. But I want you to really remember what I said earlier. Put it on a post-it note or in your wallet or in your handbag. Your past does not have to equal your future. So, where are you now? While some people seem to effortlessly put in a full working day and still manage to achieve an idyllic family lifestyle, for most of us, juggling and keeping all the balls in the air is an overwhelming challenge. Brian Dyson, the chairman of Coca-Cola from 1959 to 1994, put this much better than I can when he said, "Imagine life as a game in which you're juggling 5 balls in the air. You name them work, family, health, friends, and spirit. And you're keeping all of these in the air. You'll soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. But the other 4, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. And if you drop one of these, they will be irrevocably scuffed, marked, nicked, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. So you must understand and strive for balance in your life." So let me ask you a few questions. Do you find it hard to say no when you're asked to work late, yet again? Do you feel pressured into taking on more work than you can handle? Is it hard for you to ask for help when you need it? Do you bottle up your resentment and end up feeling angry or tearful because you feel you're jumping to someone else's tune? Do you find it hard to say no at work, or at home, or to your kids, or to your partner, or to your friends? These situations and many more like them show why having confidence, direction, and clarity together with some useful negotiation skills are a vital part of maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Whether you bottle up your frustrations and then explode, or end up feeling like the office doormat, the inability to communicate openly and confidently and to find an agreeable compromise will be damaging your health and your family relationships. So let's get to work by asking you some of the big questions that I ask working parents to get them thinking when they work with me. Grab a pen and some paper and answer the following questions really honestly and instinctively. How in control of your life do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being completely in control and 1 being completely out of control. How would you describe your levels of tiredness on the same scale of 1 to 10? Are you constantly tired, fed up and stressed? Ask yourself what you're hating, tolerating, or resenting about the current state of your life at the moment, and make a list. To what extent are you being true to yourself in what you do? Do you like the kind of person you are at the moment? Are you living out your values in a way that feels supportive of yourself and of your family at the moment? Are you doing what you really want? Do you believe you can find a winning solution that looks and sounds and feels right for everyone? And is your situation an expression of who you really are? Do you add value to others in work and in life generally? Do you have a purpose in what you do? Do you believe in what you do? Do you believe you're realising your true potential? Would you say that you're actually too busy to really enjoy your life? And how often do you find yourself thinking, there has to be a better way? Now, I want you to imagine that you have invited a new friend home to your house for the first time. And I want you to describe what they see, what they hear, and how they feel. How would they describe the atmosphere in your home? If you're surprised, startled, or shocked to discover that you feel a bit overwhelmed, then perhaps it's time to make some changes and get busy balancing your life. Pause this e-course for a few minutes and ask yourself, what are your top 3 priorities in life? Perhaps it's your children, your partner, your aging parents, or your career. Just relax and reflect on what's really important to you. All important progress begins with a new decision. So now I want you to take a moment to look at what you've been putting off, or some of the things you know that you need to do to make your life better. Write down 2 important decisions that you're willing to commit to today and follow through on. That will honour those priorities in your life from now on. Maybe it's having that long chat you've been putting off with your partner to tell them that you hate your job. Or it's that long conversation you've got to psych yourself up with to have that conversation with your boss about your working hours. Or maybe it's actually to acknowledge that you want to jack it all in and start your own business. Write down 2 important decisions that you're going to make and to commit to right now. So I want to look at now what you believe about yourself. There's something important that controls all of your decisions and influences how you think about yourself, and that then drives you forward or holds you back. And that's your beliefs. Beliefs are the things that you usually just think of yourself as, like the clumsy one, the arty one, the plodding one, or the one who nothing exciting ever happens to. And they're inherited from when you were little and given to you either by your mum and dad, or your school, or your teachers, or perhaps even your religious influences. Now, beliefs are a great source of power, as they can project you forward or hold you back. They're not tangible, but they can change over time. I want to encourage you to challenge the beliefs that you hold about yourself, because you may have been given beliefs about yourself when you're about 13 or younger that aren't true now that you're 35 or whatever age you are. In fact, they may never have been true either. So, choose to believe great things about yourself. Believe that you can have the life you dream of, and with a healthy balance between working hard and playing hard with your family, believe it and you will achieve it. So what are the 3 beliefs that you hold about yourself at the moment? Stop the e-course and write them down. Do you believe you have the confidence to handle a job interview? Or to talk frankly about your working hours or about a promotion with your boss? Write down at least 1 belief that you must now believe about yourself to succeed. Choose to adopt for yourself immediately this belief to make your life more balanced. Write it out like this, perhaps. I must believe. If you've tried to balance your life before and it hasn't worked out, why not just add this magical little word? Yet. Because for me, it transforms hopelessness into possibility. So now you've got the picture of where you are now, which is a great start. Next time, we're going to look at the competing pressures of stress, guilt, and pleasure. So see you then. Welcome back to my Work-Life Balance e-course, Module 2, Stress, Guilt, and Pleasure. In this second module, we're going to look at the competing pressures of stress, guilt, and pleasure. Being a parent, managing a job, maintaining a home, and having some sort of social life can feel like that there are never enough hours in a day. It's not easy to balance work and home life, but it is important that you do for your own enjoyment of life. There are, of course, pros and cons to every situation, whether you're a full-time, part-time, or stay-at-home parent. And having a better standard of living and being able to afford a holiday or those new trainers may well be important to you. Having your own independence may help you to feel more confident, or having friends and stimulus outside of your home may also be essential and very important to you because we're all different. But on the other hand, you may feel overwhelmed with too much to do. You may feel that you're missing out on family life, or that you're not there for your children or for your partner. You may resent the housework if it isn't shared equally, or you may feel constantly tired and stressed or guilty. Now, the important thing to remember is that there are no right or wrong ways, and there are only choices. And those choices change at different stages in your life and in your family's life. The secret is feeling in control of those choices. Burnout, or the feeling of being overwhelmed, happens when you reach the end of your tether. It's the combination of emotional, psychological, and physical exhaustion. And it's the fallout from being overcommitted and the sense that work is losing its true meaning and its perspective. It can also be an odd sense of helplessness and despair. It's a feeling that nothing will bring you happiness or success anymore. So you need to start to steer your focus on what you want to happen. It's often easier to focus on what you don't want to happen. So this isn't always easy. But here is my parent coaching visualization that I use with my parents that is very helpful in achieving balance between home, work, friendships, health, and in life generally. Find a quiet place to relax where you won't be disturbed by the kids, or the doorbell, or an email, or your phone, and start to relax and breathe deeply and slowly and rhythmically. And close your eyes and feel safe. And let's begin by asking yourself the questions that help you to find your own answers. Asking yourself the question that always reminds me of the Spice Girls. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. And as you relax your body and your mind, start to breathe deeply. And again, start to allow your mind to think about what's important to you. What do you really want? The things or the situations that would make the hairs on your arm go all goosebumpy. And just gently imagine yourself having these things easily and effortlessly. Just see what you see there. Hear what you hear. And feel how you feel. See, hear, and feel the small changes that you've made that have brought the happiness and balance back into your life. And imagine that you've already taken those steps to achieving this sense of balance. And you're now looking back on your success. See the faces of your kids, your partner, and other members of your family. And see what they see, hear what they hear, and feel how they feel now that life is more balanced and you are more at ease and in control of your life. That's it. Really relax and breathe deeply and slowly and gently, soaking up and enjoying these wonderful feelings of success and balance. Relax and just ask yourself, what are your priorities and goals at this moment? What's really important to you? And imagine all the different aspects of your life, seeing yourself floating through all the different things to do. And now imagine how it feels when it's all right, when it's all balanced, and when it's all going well and easily, just the way you'd like it to. As you breathe deeply and slowly, enjoy these feelings, these sounds, these pictures of a more relaxed, balanced you, in control and handling life's ups and downs easily and effortlessly. That's right, just imagine it's all okay. What small changes can you start to make those things happen? What do you need to remember to make getting the balance right and a way of life for you? If you could imagine each part of your life as a colour, I wonder what it would be. Imagine a lovely colour that represents your kids and your family, and wrap it round a happy photo of you in your imagination with your kids. Hear what you hear and feel how you feel when you look at the happy smiling faces of the people in the photo. See that picture of yourself in balance with life and with your family, and trust your intuition to help you find that balance that you're looking for now, easily. Now imagine a lovely colour that represents your work, and see a picture of you working, surrounded by this lovely colour. See what you see, hear what you hear, and feel how good you feel doing something that you love, that you enjoy, and you feel proud of. Just notice what you're doing. Perhaps you've changed job, or you've changed your environment, or your hours. See yourself feeling balanced, in control of the busy times, handling stress easily as you have learnt new strategies and techniques that help you feel more in control of your life. And let your imagination teach you what they're all there, everyone's there for. Just notice the different ways now that you've learned to handle stress. And as you feel the muscles in your neck relax, imagine a picture of yourself healthy and well. See what you're eating. See what exercise you're doing, like more walking or gardening. And hear that positive, encouraging voice inside your head. Notice what it's saying to you. And feel the wonderful feelings of being healthy and well. And wrap that picture around yourself too. And as you feel the tension drop away from your jaw and your shoulders, see yourself surrounded by friends, and give this picture a special colour, and wrap it around the picture in your mind as well, enjoying the feelings and the sounds that you hear. Think about me time now, ways to recharge your batteries, ways to enjoy new learning or new experiences that make you feel good about yourself and rebalance you. So just let all these wonderful images, sounds and ideas envelop you now like a rainbow. And let your unconscious start to sort out a sense of balance that feels right and appropriate for you and for your family. Now start to feel yourself coming back into the present and bring back all the learning and discovery that you found from doing that exercise. And as you continue to relax, let the ideas keep working on you throughout the day, and as you sleep and when you dream, trust your unconscious mind to continue to sort out your own natural and easy solutions to your own scenarios. Perhaps you would find it helpful to imagine your feet now firmly planted on the ground, aware of your surroundings and back in the present. So I hope you enjoyed that visualization exercise. I wonder what you discovered. Do let me know. So next time, we're going to look at your life as a whole. So see you then. Module 3, looking at your life as a whole. Welcome back to this Work-Life Balance e-course. In this model, we're going to answer some probing questions that look at your life as a whole. Now, I hope you found the visualization at the end of the last module helpful and thought-provoking. It's designed to help you wear your party pants and to sing in the shower again. By exploring what you do really want in more depth, you will find that your life as a whole becomes more balanced and more fulfilled. The best way to focus on what you want in your life at the moment is to start to ask yourself some really searching questions. Because questions control your focus and your perception of things. So start here by asking yourself these problem-solving questions. Write down the answers as you think about each question. It may feel a bit unusual and tricky to start with, but do stick with it. Trust me, I'm a parent coach. So let's go. So think about a problem that you're currently experiencing and facing. What's actually great about this problem? Does it mean you've moved on in your job and you've got promotion and so actually it's a step in the right direction? Instead of seeing it as a problem, start thinking about it as an opportunity. What's not so perfect yet? What are you willing to do to make things the way you want them to be? What are you willing to no longer do to make things the way you want them to be? What are you willing to no longer put up with? What can you do to help you relax while you're going through this process and making things the way you want them to be over time? If you find this a bit tough, try changing the words and putting in the word could instead of should. So, for example, what could I do to make things the way I want them to be? What could I no longer do to make things the way I want them to be? So let's look at what to do if you feel like you're running on empty. I find when I'm working with parents that me time often gets lost along the way of family work, school runs, football training and swimming galas. But I believe that it's a really important thing to find me time. And it's often a terribly neglected part of family and work-life balance. I feel it's important to address whether you're constantly running on empty, because if you are, then you're constantly exhausted and probably grumpy too. So jot down the answers to these questions. What do you do at the moment to relax, to exercise, or to improve your well-being? Does what you do at the moment provide you with enough balance in your life? If it doesn't, what would you like to change to make it feel more balanced? Would you like to have more free time for yourself? Would you like to make more time to do some form of exercise that feels right for you? Would you like to learn something new or join a club? Let your intuition guide you to what feels right and appropriate and manageable for you at this moment, and make some exciting plans to make a few small changes in this area. And just imagine that you've made these small changes. What's the benefit to you? And what's the benefit to your family as a whole? Whether you're self-employed, a stay-at-home parent, someone who works from home or works part-time, or you are actively pursuing a career or looking to find your life purpose, just ask yourself, what are your key goals and priorities at work? Really take some time here to pause and to write down some of your key work goals, to get them out into the open and to give yourself some clarity. Now, what would achieving your goals give you? Why do you want to achieve these goals? Because if you know why, you're more likely to achieve them. Now that you've written them down, spend some time putting a date beside each one and move them around so they're in order of priority. Don't ignore this very important element, because writing a date and giving your goals a specific timescale helps your brain to start focusing on ways to help you make them become a reality. Now imagine a time in the future when you have achieved these goals. Just relax. See what you see, hear what you hear, and notice how you feel about having accomplished your dreams and your visions. Now let's look at what family and relationship time means to you. Families, of course, come in all shapes and sizes, and we all have different ideas and styles. So what's important to you within your family life? Is it spending more time playing with the kids? Taking your partner out for a meal? Taking your ageing parents on an outing to their local garden centre? Just explore your thoughts, as this area helps you to feel safe and secure in a busy world. Now write down some key things that you could do in the next week to improve this side of your life. Now let's take a look at friendship time. Friends are important to most of us, and they need nurturing and watering too to make them grow. So write down some little things that you could do to balance this side of your life. Could you arrange to go for a drink, see a film, or just have a good old natter on the phone? Whatever feels most comfortable for you, and put something concrete in your diary for next week. Take action. Get into the habit of diarising your friendship time, because I know that you will make time for your dentist and your business, so why not make time for the people who make you feel good, make you laugh, and make your life feel balanced? Let's take a few minutes now to explore home time, the domestic side to managing your life. The decorating, the gardening, the repairing and the budgeting. The mundane but necessary socks and pants side to your life. Now write down how this area could be fine-tuned and make some little changes over the next week to balance this side of your life. It's all about little changes, not these great big goals. Again, make a list of to-do things and put a date beside each one. And start ticking off your list. It really makes you feel incredibly good to see things done. I do it all the time. I draw a box beside something that I need to do, and I tick it when I've done it. And it's amazing how good it makes me feel. So try it. Again, make a to-do list of things and put dates beside each one, and you'll find that you'll start to feel more in control of your life. And finally, let's look at spiritual time in your life. This is not about religion. This, for me, is about things you might like to learn or experience, or places you'd like to see, or, music you'd like to listen to. It's about the uplifting side of our lives. Perhaps it's about the self-development books you've always wanted to read, or the uplifting and creative side to you that gets hushed away because you're so busy. Write down some of the things you've always meant to do and write them here and start ticking them off as you start to achieve them over the next weeks, months, and maybe years. Well, that's it for now. Baby steps, as they say. Small steps lead to great things. So until next time, have fun enjoying writing these ideas down. And next time, we're going to look at learning to prioritise. So I'll see you then. Hello and welcome to Module 4, Learning to Prioritise. In this model, we're going to learn to prioritise, as I've just said. You really can't do everything, Unlike Mary Poppins or Mrs. Doubtfire, sometimes some things just have to go by the board. And letting go of routines can be hard. So choose the things that you have to do and leave those that can be left. So let's ask yourself, which is more important? That the washing up is done immediately, or that you enjoy reading your children a bedtime story? That you get half an hour to unwind and have a sit down, or the house is hoovered? That you and your teenager have a chance to talk, or that the machine is loaded with washing? It's all about looking at life from the bigger picture perspective. I'll always remember the mum who came on one of my work-life balance workshops saying, "The time I save by eating a ready-cooked meal during the week sometimes allowed me to help the boys with their homework. So I stopped beating myself up about being an earth mother, and I enjoyed the time with the kids more." It's a question of priorities and taking back control of your life. So ask yourself, would you prefer to work more, less, or the same as now? What small change could you make this week to help you manage your work-life balance better? Could you ask the kids to lay the table? Could you get your son to empty the bin in the kitchen and get your daughter to pick up the towels in the bathroom? What are your biggest worries? Get them out on paper and let's have a look at them. What don't you like about your life at the moment? What makes taking control difficult and challenging for you? What would make it easier? By writing things down, I'm a great believer in that you become detached from some of the things that swirl around in your head. And by getting them down on paper, you start to shine a light or a torch on them. So you start to get more clarity. So do take time to write the things down that I suggest, because I think it will really help. Now let's look at making friends with your juggler. We all juggle. We juggle relationships, parenting, life and work, and sometimes we drop one or all of the balls. So let's look at making friends with the juggler and finding new ways to succeed as a working parent. The first myth that I think we need to debunk is that you actually get the balance completely right. You won't. But I can help you focus on effective strategies that make you feel more in control and back in the driving seat of your life. How many times do you focus on the negative feelings and anxieties related to work and home and forget to focus on the positive things that happen in your lives and with your kids or in your careers? With a simple shift and a positive refocusing, changes can happen almost overnight in how you see your life. By simply reframing how you describe work, you can change your view of it. On my courses, some people have said, I always feel guilty about going out to work. Oh, when I'm at home, I feel guilty about what I'm not doing at work. I never seem to have enough time. I always feel stressed. There's never enough time to get all the jobs done and do nice things with the kids. I constantly feel overwhelmed. But with a change in attitude and a different perspective, life suddenly can take on a new viewpoint. How about these, changing it to this and reframing it perhaps? Oh, working gives me self-esteem and a purpose that's different from being at home. It gives me adult conversation, which I enjoy. I really like getting my teeth stuck into my work. It offers me a challenge and it gives me a bigger perspective to my life. Oh, I really enjoy interacting with others and making a difference in people's lives. I enjoy the responsibility at work. Well, I enjoy the variety of working part-time and being able to pick the kids up from school. Oh, I love working for myself now. It's so exciting to make my own decisions and not have to answer to anyone but myself. So you see the difference? It's all about your mindset and the language that you use, talking to yourself about your work. For me, I'm very passionate and enthusiastic about my work. And because I love it so much, it doesn't feel like work. But there is a downside to that I don't know always when to stop, or when to close the door, or when to switch off. And I also expect everyone else to feel exactly the same way about my work, which is just plain balmy of me, really. But here's the reality. No matter how much we do, we will never get everything done. There isn't enough time for all the things that need doing, all of what we want to do, or what we'd like to do, or what we think we should do. So I think it helps to relax and to remember we won't get it all done immediately. And we need to allow ourselves to let things roll over to the next day. And I think we need to be more forgiving of ourselves. So if this reminds you of you, what silly voice could you have inside your head that could pop up to remind you that you're getting overwhelmed or being a bit of a perfectionist? You need a trigger to help you notice when you're starting to take it all a bit too seriously. Everyone is different, of course, when it comes to what the ideal balance should feel like in their lives. The balance changes with time, with circumstances and stages of life anyway. The really important thing is that you know what you mean and you're very clear about what your priorities are in each area of your life. So, now I'm going to give you some questions to get your creative juices flowing. And you can just choose the ones that seem to be relevant to your circumstances for maybe just this year. Don't get yourself overwhelmed. So take some time. You can pause at different sections to write things down. Give this the time it deserves and it will genuinely help you get clarity, direction and more confidence. So what's most important to you this year? What do you want to achieve most? What are your priorities in your family life? What sort of experiences do you want to have with your family? Which relationships do you want to start, to develop, or to change? How can you improve the quality time with your family? What are your key priorities in your work and career? Working out what you want most from your life may take you some time, especially if you've never stopped and thought about it before more objectively. So be patient with yourself and let the answers come up gradually, perhaps over time. Remember how long it took you to decide that new car that you wanted to buy, or that new washing machine, or that new job you wanted to go for, or that new piece of furniture. And of course, this is very important, so take your time. The secret is to remain flexible on life's journey and to bend, not break, but to also have a clear idea of your destination, because that allows you to change direction if you want to. If you want to stop off, you want to smell the roses, you want to take a detour or have a rest. So that's it for this session. Next time we'll look at what it takes to be an effective working parent. So see you then. Welcome back to Module 5 of Being a Working Parent. This time we're going to look at what it takes to be an effective working parent. So here are some ideas for handling being a working parent. Accept that you are a working parent and stop feeling guilty. Turn down all those inner voices that say things like, "Oh, good parents stay at home and always put their children first." "Oh, good parents never lose their temper because they're tired after a hard day at work." You need to banish your big G gremlin of guilt, and you need to replace it with a kinder, soothing voice saying something like, "Do you know what? I'm doing my best and I love my kids." Don't allow other people to make you feel guilty either, especially those at work. You may have to leave work at 5:15 because you're a mum or a dad and you have to pick up your child from their nursery or from school, not because you're shirking your work responsibilities. When you put appointments in your diary, don't apologise for not being available on the days you have family or childcare responsibilities. It sends out the wrong message. Just say, "I'm available on Tuesday or Thursday next week." You sound far more professional and in control, and people don't need to know your business. Ignore the research and reports that tell you about the devastating effects of working mothers or working parents that have on their children. For every doom and gloom report, there are lots of others that tell a very different story. The most important factor in a child's development isn't whether or not their mum or dad goes out to work, but whether or not their mum or dad is happy. So if you enjoy the mental stimulus, the personal satisfaction, or the financial security of working, just keep doing it. But do get really good childcare, as this gives you peace of mind and gives you stability and reassurance. You don't want to spend time at work worrying about your child. So it's worth spending time looking at a range of different nurseries or childminders or ways of having children looked after to find the one that really feels intuitively right for you and for your child. Remember, the quality of the carers is far more important than the quality of their resources. Always go with your gut feeling on things like this and trust your intuition. It's usually spot on. Now also get the support of your partner, because when your child is sick, you don't want to waste time arguing about whose job is more important, and make sure that you always have a fallback position with a friend or a relative in case of an emergency or an unexpected event. Now this is often a really hard thing for people to do, but let your standards slip a little. It's not possible to be a working mum or dad and have a perfect home. If you try and aim for this, you'll burn yourself out. Get help if you can afford it with the ironing or the cleaning. It's time that you might need to free yourself up from. So find ways to delegate some of the household jobs. Even ask the kids to help, which is good for their sense of capability and competence and feeling part of your family team. Explain to your kids the reasons why you go out to work so they can see life from your perspective. It's essential that you develop a good support network of family, friends, neighbours and people around you that can help you out in a childcare crisis and offer to do the same for them. Reduce your morning stress. Get everything ready the night before. Make the packed lunch, iron the school sports kit, polish the shoes and leave out the trainers by the door ready. Don't waste valuable time hunting for things last minute. That is very stressful. And leave an extra supply of nappies or clothes with your childminder or your relative or your nursery, if you can, if you have very young children. The secret here is planning ahead all the time. Also, know your rights. Parents of children under 6 now have the right to ask their employer to consider flexible working hours. Always focus on the positive. If you've had a bad day, make a list of all the positive reasons that you go out to work and think of a different or a good day when everything went well, and write down what you like best about those days, because it gives you a sense of balance and a different and wider perspective to your life as a whole. A bad day is not a bad life. Be clear, be focused, and be happy deliberately. Don't undermine your worth by comparing yourself with others. We're all different, and that makes us all special and unique and wonderful. Don't set your goals by what other people deem to be important. Only you know what's best for you and for your family. Don't let your life slip through your fingers by living in the past or by living in the future. Live your life one day at a time, and then you live all the days of your life fully. Now, don't give up when you still have something to give. Nothing is really over until the moment you stop trying. So don't give in to, I can't make any changes. It's just the way it is. You have choices. And don't be afraid to admit that you're less than perfect. It is this fragile thread that binds us to each other. No one is perfect. And don't be afraid to encounter risks, because it's by taking chances that we learn how to be brave. Don't shut love out of your life by saying it's impossible to find. The quickest way to receive love is to give it, and the fastest way to lose love is to hold on to it too tightly. And the best way to give love is to give it wings. So remember that for your children. We give them roots, but we also give them wings. Another little tip is don't rush through your life so fast that you forget not only where you've been, but also where you're going. And don't forget that a person's greatest emotional need is to feel appreciated. So thank people if they help you. And don't be afraid to learn. Knowledge is weightless. It's a treasure that you can always carry easily. And be mindful about using your words carelessly, because they can't be retrieved to partners or to children. I hope it helps to remember that life is not a race, but a journey to be savoured each step of the way. As they say, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. I think we're so busy rushing about that we do forget to stay grounded in the present. And I spend a lot of time working with stressed and guilty working parents, looking at their time management. And once they've got that back under control, everything else seems to fall into place. The kids' homework gets done easily, meal times are less fraught, kids seem more obliging and accommodating, and parents start enjoying their parenting again and even beginning to smile once in a while. So the secret is to keep it simple. Have a routine. and plan your time out the night before, keeping the whole process moving swiftly with clarity so everyone knows what's expected of them. Don't be a martyr. Spread the load amongst the family. Stay centred in where you are. So if you're at work, be there 100% in your attitude, your energy and your commitment. Don't start worrying about the ironing at home. And if you're at home, don't start worrying about the to-do list waiting for you on Monday morning. Enjoy the game of Cluedo and relax with your kids. Stay centred on them. Loads of stress comes from people not focusing on the moment and being fully present. Remember, it's also about relaxing, smiling and being flexible if it all goes wrong. You only have one life, so make the most of it. Don't get too bogged down in labelling yourself as a working mum or a workaholic dad. Just be happy in all the different roles that you play and try and balance them out. So, that was a lot of suggestions, wasn't it? I hope you don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have to try to do them all at the same time. Just pick the ones that feel right for you at this moment and that they're relevant to your situation. You can come back to this e-course any time, in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and run it through again, because things will have changed and different things will come up that didn't come up this time. So, I'll see you in the next module when we'll be turning problems into possibilities. See you then. Welcome back to Module 6, Turning Problems into Possibilities. Right, well, let's explore your options. So, we've looked at what's important to you. So now we're going to explore the options that are right for you, and we're going to try out a few to see how they feel. One of the best ways of exploring your options is to get curious and open-minded and relax and think outside of your usual safe spot or comfort zone. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and being pleasantly surprised how good you feel afterwards. You may feel overwhelmed by your circumstances that you find yourself in at the moment, and you can't see a way out or through your situation, as the goal of a more balanced life seems far away in the future or the distance. But don't worry, this is perfectly normal, and this is where parent coaching comes in to help you to break down those big goals into manageable, bite-sized chunks or steps which feel more manageable and doable. Now, this stage can feel a bit frustrating because you can see what you want to do, but you may feel a bit trapped in or powerless to move yourself forward. Everyone feels like that at times, and that's why people stay locked in or trapped into their jobs that they hate or they've outgrown, because they feel dispirited and a bit drained, and they do become sometimes a bit cynical and angry about the way life has treated them. I bet you can think of plenty of people like that. I know I can. But what I'm going to help you do is move beyond that feeling of helplessness, because there are things that you can do to change your choices or your circumstances that can help you move towards happiness and more peace. Feeling trapped and helpless is perfectly normal, but you can deal with it and handle it by starting to explore your options. I remember as soon as I learnt this, it felt like a heavy burden had been lifted from my shoulders with a wonderful sense of relief just by exploring some things I could do. I remember writing down some really outrageous ideas. Some of them were wild, some of them were wacky, some of them were brilliant, and some of them I've now accomplished, because it was really liberating to just brainstorm and write wildly with no sense of limitation. Money was no object, time was no object, responsibilities were no object. I just explored, just helping myself to free myself up to look at some different ways of doing things. And just by exploring, helped me to change my perspective and the sense of deadlock and limitation I felt before. Actually, it felt like I had a secret from my job. I had an escape plan if I wanted it. And I could choose what happened to me, how I felt, how I worked, and when and how I spent time with my kids. So this is the exciting part of looking at what will happen to you next. This is moving from the problems to possibilities mindset. One of the major things that make you feel stuck in a rut and out of control is the human tendency to see your life in terms of problems instead of possibilities. I remember a client of mine who often complained about his life as a deputy head teacher. He felt overworked, underpaid, invisible, and frustrated as he struggled with his desire and dream to write a book, to own a wine bar in France, and lead a more balanced life with his 2 kids and partner. He came to me disillusioned and a bit cynical about life and how it had turned out. He saw his life as if it was something that had happened to him, not as if he had an active, participating role in it. And that's when he met me. By working with him on how he would like his life to be and working on all his possibilities, silly, outrageous, practical and impractical to start with, did we find out what I call his Spice Girls moment. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So we looked at the obstacles in his way and we looked at ways around them. We looked at ways through them, or we looked at ways to overcome those obstacles, because they really do exist in life, and finding a balance in your life is about shining a torch on those difficulties, facing them, and then walking round them purposefully and positively and confidently, knowing that they fit in with your principles and values in life, and they feel right in the way that they affect everyone important and special in your life too. So by seeing his life in terms of possibilities, he freed himself up from his limitations. He saw his dreams as goals with a date, a way forward, and a really motivating factor as he became excited about achieving them easily and in small, manageable steps. Some of them took him quite a few years to achieve, and I now discover on Facebook and Twitter that he has a wine bar in France and he writes a food blog. So how about that? He allowed his mind to start saying yes, not automatically no, and he watched his wishes turn into realities. He changed from being a man who liked to say no and who closed down his life into the man who liked to say, well, why not? Let's explore. This yes mentality makes you start to think about positive solutions to your problems. It's called a growth mindset. So, in what ways are you holding yourself back by your own attitude? What would happen if you changed your mindset to yes? Why not? Well, at least let's explore. If you hear yourself saying yes, and that's all very well, Sue, but be on your guard. The word but is a killer of dreams. At first, this new way of thinking won't feel perhaps natural to you, but as I often say, you become what you practice. So why not take a small step to find out where you'd really like to go? This could actually change your life. Let's look at increasing your resources. For the next week, just pay special attention to what other people are doing with regard to work-life balance. Ask people at work how they manage their juggling. Notice the influences that they're all around you. Look at TV programmes from that perspective, DVDs or great films. Surf on the net to find articles about balancing your life, or read a different newspaper or a magazine with ideas to help you. And just explore a wider range of resources that may help you. Spend some time doing something that engrosses, absorbs and relaxes you, so you start to think about new solutions to old ways of doing things. and that's all in a natural way. Pause to ponder. Often when you're driving or washing up or doing something pretty mundane, does your unconscious come up with some cracking ideas because you're not trying too hard? So I want you now to grab a cup of coffee and let's think about what's possible. Let's brainstorm. What is your fastest and quickest option? Let's look at what's your scariest option, the most difficult option, the most risky option, your most exciting option, the one that gets your heart racing and your eyes dancing. Now, all of these options have an upside and a downside. So let's just look at what's safe, what's scary, what's difficult, what's risky, or what's exciting for you. Jot them down. Now look at them again, measured against what feels right for your family as a whole. What factors do you need to take account of? What responsibilities and commitments do you need to honour? But remember to keep the possibility mindset while you do this. Notice what comes into your mind as you ask yourself these questions. Do you get a sense of your own abilities and capabilities? If you find yourself saying, well, I couldn't possibly do that, simply ask yourself, why not? Is it because you've never done anything like this before? Or is it that you may be frightened of failing? Or is it conflicting with a principle that you hold? While you're reflecting and considering each of the options that you've written down, who do you know already or could find in the future to help you with your new plans? How can they help you to move you forward? What are the gaps in your knowledge or skills that you might like to learn or discover more about while you move towards your more balanced life? Now, take some time to look back over all your statements, and I want you to reframe them into the present tense as if they are happening right now. Now, don't miss this bit out, as your mind really likes to hear things stated as if they're really happening now. Start to write things down like, I am successful at balancing my home life with the kids and my commitments at work. I get home in time 3 times a week to read to the kids, and I enjoy working on complicated projects at work. I provide the family with the lifestyle that we all feel happy with, and I enjoy my life to the full. I'm really pleased with the little changes I'm making to constantly keep an eye on my work-life balance. Which option feels like the most compelling one to you that you wrote down? The one you can really see yourself doing and achieving despite all your fears and doubts. And finally, ask yourself, what is the very first baby step you need to propel yourself into enthusiastic action? Perhaps you just need to sit down with your partner over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine to chat through how you're feeling, or to explore some of your options together. Perhaps you need to sit down with your employer and talk about some new ways for you to work. Perhaps you need to explore new childcare facilities or stay-at-home options. Maybe you just need to phone a friend to talk about your ideas so you get your own clarity by just speaking out loud about them. Maybe you need to find your own champion, a friend, a relative, or a parent coach like me to help you, to encourage you and to believe in you as you make these changes. Just stop and make yourself a promise to take the first step today. If you'd like to work with me, if you're a member of my club, you can have a monthly free call with me. Just by stepping up and giving me a call, I'll be there to champion you, support you, nurture you, believe in you for an hour call once a month. So if that's an option, go and explore that. But that's it for today. And so until next time, it's time to smarten up. And I'll explain what I mean by that in the next video. Hello and welcome back to Module 7. Right, in this session, we're going to smarten up. Now, you've got a better idea of some of your options and possibilities. Let's take some time to fine-tune them to make sure that they are really compelling. And it means getting up close and really personal with your ideas and plans for the future. Now, your brain needs clear instructions about the what, the how, and the when bits to actually get you motivated and moving forward. I call this the let's smarten up time. So to be really realistic and to make sure you actually achieve your goals, you need to make sure each of your goals is specific, that they are measurable, that they are achievable and appealing, that they're realistic, they're timed, they're enthusiastic, they're natural, they're understood, and they're prepared. So let's go through each one of these and see what I mean by them. So let's look first at being specific. Just being vague and saying, oh, I want a better work-life balance, doesn't really tell your brain anything specific. So it can't work out what you mean. But by getting specific and saying, I want to get home to Bath Ellie twice a week, or I want to help Molly with her maths homework every Thursday, gives your brain something to focus on. Let's look at measurable. Measurable is when you want to achieve your goal by. If you're too vague, nothing ever changes, as you mean well and are very well intentioned, but you actually do nothing towards making a firm commitment, so you never get there. It's a bit like saying, oh, we must meet for coffee sometime, and you never do. Again, your brain needs clear instructions to work on, so set yourself a time, like a week in advance, and say something like, oh, this Thursday I will leave the office at 5:15 so I can realistically get home in time to help Molly with her maths homework. Now that gets rid of all procrastination. Let's look at achievable and appealing goals. Now for me, the appealing part is the most crucial, as it's the one that really gets you all fired up, gets you taking some positive action forward. If you don't find your goal is that compelling, then go back to it and think again. Are you trying to get a better work-life balance because you really want that? Or is it just because your partner keeps nagging you? So it's actually not really one of your goals deep down at all. Being realistic. Now, realistic goals are the ones that feel right for you. They're not measured against what other people are doing or wanting. Some people want to get home at 3:30 each day, 5 days a week to pick up their daughter from school, but that may not be a realistic goal for you, whereas twice a week could be. So relax and visualize what's really achievable, or you'll get discouraged, you'll get downhearted and you'll feel a failure, and this is not what it's all about at all. So set your bar perhaps a bit lower. Achieve your aims and feel good. That's a much better plan of action. Now, timed goals. What does that mean? Well, what you want to achieve in your balanced life needs to have a time frame around it, or as I say, it'll just stay a good intention. Again, be very specific and choose a time, a day, a week or a month when you can pin yourself down, because these markers act as milestones or a flag, sort of waving celebrations, like racing drivers across the finishing line. And they shake champagne everywhere, remember that? And that's what you'll have. You'll have that sense of achievement. And it needs to be celebrated in some way, from having a glass of bubbly, to a nice frothy latte, to a warm relaxing bath, or a pint down the pub. Whatever it is, it's your special treat, which is personal to you when you've achieved one of your timed goals. But whatever it is, I want you to pat yourself on the back and enjoy it. Don't miss this part out, because this is the part that keeps you motivated to keep going. Celebrations are really important. They keep you moving forward and they give you a sense of pride and success, and they really are very important. Now let's look at being enthusiastic about your goal. Well, if you're not enthusiastic about it, then you're not going to achieve it, are you? being enthusiastic and excited about your goal is vital, because if you're not, who is? So you won't feel motivated if you're not raring to go, you're not hyped up and you're not enthusiastic, as this carries you through the challenges that you sometimes realistically hit. So keep the bigger picture in mind. See the smiling faces of your kids, the giggling voices perhaps of them, or put a photo of the family up somewhere prominent so it gets you out of the office on time to get home. Now, your goal must fit with your natural instincts and with your intuition. So sit quietly and relax and think of your goal, just one, and see what you see, hear what you hear, and feel how you feel. What did you discover? If everything feels good, then you're in tune and everything feels natural and okay. But if it doesn't, listen to what your unconscious is saying to you and rethink your ideas a bit. Go back a couple of steps. Now, feeling understood around this is an interesting one. It's a really good idea to make sure that your ideas, your goals or your aims are properly understood by your partner and other important people in your life, your friends or your work colleagues or your boss. They need to know what you're trying to achieve so they can support you, encourage you and help you along the way. It doesn't mean you have to broadcast your private thoughts to everyone, all and sundry, but by telling the key, important people in your life means that they can be your cheerleaders along the way. And I often find that role with parents is where I step in as a coach, because I am that cheerleader, believing and championing you along your journey. Because when people hit a bit of an obstacle or a sticky time, I can come in with a bit of positive, confident enthusiasm and help you hold your hand and help you through that wobble time. But whoever you choose, do actually help them to understand what you're trying to achieve so they can support you. Now, being prepared is being prepared for setbacks, of course, because, real life is out there. You do get upsets, you do get setbacks, you do get things happen to you that you hadn't prepared for. It's called life. And often, actually, those closest to us can hold us back or sabotage our progress by a small remark or a stray comment that they unconsciously pull you back, and that can knock you off centre and upset your direction. So you've got to work that balance out between telling your partner or people at work so they understand what you're trying to get to and support you, or if they are there a little bit with snidey remarks, not really believing in you. You've got to find that belief within yourself. I think the key thing here is to be prepared for that to happen along the way, so you'll recognise it, and therefore you'll be better placed to handle it if you do encounter it. For me, achieving work-life balance is all about taking baby steps towards the balanced life that I really wanted. So I want you to remember that it's the small steps. You'll get 3 steps forward and 2 steps back sometimes. You'll have a detour. You might even have a stop where you have to regroup and get back on the horse and ride again. But remembering to check in and to see that everything's working out every 3 months or so is a really good idea. That's why you've got this e-course now as a member of my club, and you can come back to it anytime you like, forever, because life is constantly changing. And making friends with the juggling in your life is half the secret, because as I said before, juggling will never go away completely. It's a fact of 21st century life. But it can be tamed and it can be managed if you just take a little time to step back and observe your life from time to time as a detached observer. It really is that simple. So, until next time, I'm going to introduce you to a very effective strategy I use with my parents on courses and when I'm coaching them one-to-one. It's called the 1 point. So until next time, see you later. Well, hello, welcome back. This time, I'm going to introduce you to a very effective strategy I use with my parents on my courses and when I'm coaching them. It's known as the 1 point. Now I want you to relax and imagine yourself centered and grounded like an old oak tree with deep, strong roots that go down into the earth. Perhaps you might like to close your eyes. I want you to imagine standing with your legs just slightly apart, solidly planted, grounded. I want you to feel centered and in control of everything around you. And I want you to move your attention to a place just below your tummy button, which is called your 1 point. It's a place where your body is perfectly balanced and can't be swayed, knocked over, pushed over, or upset. It's a place of true control, where you breathe deeply and slowly, and where you feel at ease and relaxed, balanced and unshakable. This is a place of confidence and certainty. I want you to imagine that you're at work and everything is going really well. You're busy, productive, doing your best, and working efficiently and conscientiously. You are in the zone, as they say, where it's all going well, all going easily and naturally flowing. Now I want you to imagine that you're at home. Everything's going well and easily there. Everyone is relaxed and at ease. And you're feeling balanced and centered and grounded. Now see what you see there. Hear what you hear there. And feel how good you feel when both scenarios are all right. They're balanced. Everything's okay. Now from this centre of balance, I want you to imagine a time at work when there are a few challenges. It's gone a bit pear-shaped. But you are grounded, you are centred, and you are rooted deep into the earth as a wise old oak tree, unshakable and in control, easily handling the challenges and the surprises from your place of balance, from your 1 point, just below your tummy button. Now let's do the same at home, where things have got a bit challenging too, where there are a few surprises and challenges and things are not working out quite as you planned. But imagine yourself grounded there, centered and thinking and speaking from this place of measured, centered balance, easily handling whatever family life throws at you too. Now imagine it's all okay at work again, and it's all okay at home again, and see yourself relaxed and happy, no matter what the circumstances are. And come back into yourself and take all the positive and confident feelings and learning back with you from these different scenarios and situations. And knowing that you can handle whatever life throws at you because you are grounded, centered, balanced, and able to handle life in all its forms. Well, this was just a short session this time, but I hope a really useful one. Now you know how to feel centered, balanced, and grounded. Whatever and whenever you feel that you need it, you have a technique and a strategy to help you get back in control. So until next time, we're going to be making time for quality time. So see you then. Hello and welcome back to Module 9. In this session, let's make time for quality time. Well, why is there all this fuss about quality time? What is it? How do you do it? And how do you know if you're enjoying it? It doesn't matter how old your child is, toddler, baby or teenager. They all need your involvement, and that means spending time with them. The reason why it's so important to spend time with them is that you never know when they're going to open up to you. My son never opened up to me in the car on the way home from school when he was tired and hungry, and when I directly asked him, "How was your day?" It was always at unspecific times when we were just chilling or being casual in our activity together. So the more time you're just together increases the likelihood of finding out about that row at school today, or that unkind remark, or that funny incident in the science lab. And by going to football matches, rounders matches, swimming galas, netball tournaments, or perhaps piano recitals, you're showing your commitment, your interest and your reassurance to your child. And by driving a crowd of friends to bowling, you hear all sorts of conversations naturally. Because parenting, as you know, is not something that you do when you feel like it. I always say that children spell love Time. And it takes hard work and often means you have to rearrange meetings if you are a working parent. But when your child has flown the nest, you really won't say, "I wish I'd spent more time in the office." You'll regret that you didn't spend more time with your child when you had the chance. Quality time doesn't mean to me teaching my daughter equations. I don't want her to, think I'm her tutor. I'm her parent. I'll help her with her homework, and then we like to bake cakes and paint rainbows and buy earrings. Quality time isn't about what you're doing, it's about how you do it. It's a state of mind, not a list of learning outcomes. It's about fully engaging, really listening, sharing a passion or an interest, and being relaxed and having fun. If you'd rather be somewhere else mentally, then go. You're not spending quality time with your child. Don't be on planet autopilot. Your child knows when you're genuinely interested. So be there mentally and physically. It's better to spend an hour fully engaged than 2 hours pretending. That is not what quality time is all about. Here's a tip. Try to become interested in what interests your child, not what you are interested in or think your child should be interested in. Swap your thinking around. Be led by your child. It helps their self-esteem and maturity, and you'll learn lots of new things and become really bonded together. I think the key thing to remember about time is that successful parents don't simply find time, they make time. The most important step to take as a parent is to develop a new way of looking at time. And one of the most important changes that happens in families when I work with them is when parents start to look at time in a different way. When you start to review time as a resource and something that's actually in plenty of supply, you use it more wisely and you start to take control over it, not it over you. The change occurs when you learn to use it, not waste it. So like any resource, time can be wasted or put to good use, but there's one big difference between time as a resource and other things. Time can't be stockpiled. It can't be saved up or stored up for later. It can't be hoarded or turned on or off. And it just can't be replaced. So once you've spent it, it's gone forever. And you can't get it back or retrieve it. And that's why it's so important to kids and family life. And that's why you don't hear people saying when their kids are grown up, "I wish I'd spent more time in the office." I believe you always have a choice in your life, in everything that you do or in everything that you say. And I believe we live by choice, not chance. And nowhere is this more apparent than in how we choose to spend our time as parents. It isn't luck that separates successful parents from parents who struggle with time. It's not knowing the right people, or having the right timing, or having better genetics, or having more money, or having a nanny. We all have 168 hours in a week, the same as everyone else. But it's what you choose to do with your 168 hours that matters. So I want you to listen to the way some parents talk about time, how they view it and how they use it. Some parents say that they kill time, they waste time, they've lost time, they let time slip away, they take time for granted, they squander time, they can't find the time. Whereas other parents say that they use time, they spend time wisely, they value time, they organise their time, they treasure time, they schedule or plan time, or they make time. It's all about the way you view it, and parents with a sense of a more balance into their work-life home situations find time, they make time, and they plan time with their kids. Let me say that again. They find time, they make time, and they plan time with their kids. The secret is balance and recognizing that time is your most valuable commodity or resource. When you have kids, regardless of their ages, we all have 24 hours in a day. So it's about how you prioritise your time and how you ring fence it. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time, we're going to be looking at time, how you master it. So see you then. Hello and welcome back to Module 10, which is all about mastering time. Now, last time we talked about making time, and this time we're going to look at mastering time. Now, there are loads of wonderful books and wonderful workshops out there to teach you about mastering your time. But I'm a great believer in KISS. Keep it simple, Sue, or actually keep it simple, stupid, to coin the correct phrase. But there's not much difference, is there? The key thing is to make good choices and to develop good habits with time. A successful life is really no more than a string of successful days. So why not start today to become more successful in managing your time? Architects and builders have drawing plans. Pilots have flight plans. Business executives have business plans. And coaches have game plans. And teachers have lesson plans. So why don't parents have parenting plans? Some people call it a to-do list or a list of priorities for the day. Some life coaches call it daily goal setting, which all sounds a bit pretentious and hard-going to me. So call it what you like, but whatever you call it, get into the habit of doing it and build in time for your children and family. Of all the positive things you'll ever do, investing your time in your family, your kids and your partner, even if it's only for 10 minutes a day, will pay off 1,000 times in goodwill, affection, love and appreciation from your family and from your children. The feelings of accomplishment will really astonish you as you build in this new habit to your life, and you'll watch your relationships easily and effortlessly and massively improve as they grow and flourish over time. So let's look at another useful skill that's helpful to develop. It's the ability to delegate, whether it's at work or at home. Sharing the load by assigning some of your tasks to another person helps them develop responsibility as well, as it helps you to free up some of your valuable time to do more productive or more important tasks. So start to look at how you can find tasks to delegate to other people that other people can do perhaps even better than you. Or you may need to spend a little extra time showing others less experienced but keen to learn how to do something that in the long term will give you back so much more useful, quality and valuable time. So let's spend some time now teaching your daughter or your son how to mow the lawn, or to give the office junior a lesson in how to answer the phone correctly, whatever it might be. Start thinking outside of the box in small ways, if you're not very good at big ways, yet to delegate tasks. And always remember to give positive encouragement and feedback for a well-cut lawn or a great phone call. Or if you delegate, remember there are always lots of different ways to unload the dishwasher. So let it go if it's not done exactly as you would have done it, but just focus on what it gave you back in terms of time, and breathe deeply. So pause now and get ready to write down all the things that you could or would like to delegate to other people, because just by doing this exercise and being very specific is letting your unconscious mind start to go to work on creating some solutions for you in this area. Write down all the tasks that you could delegate. Now ask yourself, what's stopping me from doing that? How will you know when you do feel more balanced in your life? Check in to yourself, and how will you know? Think about the future for a moment and reflect on how you'll know that you have more balance in your life generally. Are the people who are important in your life happier? Do you feel happier with yourself? Have you more space and time for yourself and for your family and for work? Are other people perhaps pleased with what's happening and the changes that have been made? Do you appreciate perhaps the effect you're having on the events around you more? Do you have a good feeling now within you? I think it's worth analysing just how and when you'll know that these things are the way you'd like them, so you can recognise the feeling and keep on fine-tuning it from time to time. So, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to wrap up this course with 10 daily balancing acts. So see you then. Hello and welcome back to Module 11, 10 daily balancing acts. Well, this is our final session together, learning to find a work-life balance that works for you. And as a dummies author, one in those famous black and yellow books, I'm used to putting things into what the publishers called parts of 10. So let's finish off by looking at 10 daily balancing acts that you can do to feel more in control of your life. Tip 1. Take 10 deep breaths 3 times a day to help you remember to check in on how you are feeling. And if you're feeling out of control and overwhelmed, change something. Tip 2. Set yourself a clear vision for the day, for the week, for the month, and for the year, with your family and with work, and write your ideas down. And use my daily positive parent workout MP3 download. And it's a journal too in this series to support you as you move forward towards more balance in your life. Tip 3. Start to filter the world through rainbow-coloured spectacles. Start to see all the wonderful things in your life in great detail. Perhaps it's the smiling face of your 3-year-old as she kisses you covered in jam. Perhaps it's that spontaneous chat with your teenager at 1:30 in the morning when they can't sleep. Perhaps it's the jaunty walk of your Cocker Spaniel as he walks up to you and greets you when you get home. These strong, positive emotions stay in your system for over 6 hours, so it makes sense to start building them into your daily routine, doesn't it? Louise Hay, the author of You Can Heal Your Life and founder of the Hay House Publishing Company, believes counting her blessings was just one of the ways that she helped heal herself from cancer. Tip 4. Think about what's really important to you in your life and imagine this was the last week of your life. What changes would you immediately put into place to make sure the important things got said or got done? Tip 5. Find inspiration all around you and notice what successful parents are doing and copy them. It's called modelling in NLP circles, so that makes it all right. So it's not like in school when you copied from your neighbour and you got told off. This is copying good practice, and it saves you a great deal of time and heartache noticing what other people are doing and getting it right. So do that. Model it. Tip 6. Remind yourself of your must-do moments. The things that when you look back from that rocking chair at 80, you are really glad and proud you achieved and did. And focus on what are the ones that you're going to do this year. Tip 7. Get a balance between doing and reflecting on your life so things are constantly being gently monitored by yourself over time. Tip 8. Remember to change your physiology by smiling, jumping up and down, or just going for a short walk, because changing your line of thought helps you get back your sense of perspective so you'll feel less stressed. Tip 9. Laugh often and forgive easily, as this really is a great way to learn to dance through life, not wade. And finally, tip 10. Remember what my really great dad used to say to me so often when I was growing up. Life is what you make it. So heed his wise words. Work hard, but play hard too, and enjoy the balance that having a happy family can truly give you. Well, that's it. I really hope this course has helped you to discover some new ways to think about your life, or has helped you to consider some different ways of doing things. Balancing work and life isn't always easy, so don't beat yourself up. But the important thing is to have the confidence to take the first steps towards making it happen. And remember, a journey of 10,000 miles starts with a single step. I'd love to hear how you got on, so drop me an email at